Ladies and gentlemen, let me remind you today that your worth is not defined by rejection. Too often we tie our value to how others perceive us, how they treat us, or whether they choose us. When someone overlooks us, fails to recognize our worth, or even outright dismisses us, it's easy to internalize that and start believing the lie that we are somehow not enough. But I want you to know that you are not a reflection of someone else's inability to see your greatness. Rejection is not a mirror of your value. It's simply a misalignment of paths, perspectives, or purpose. Think about the most precious gems in the world: diamonds, rubies, emeralds. These stones don't lose their value just because someone passes by without noticing. Their worth remains intact, whether or not they are appreciated by every passerby. You, my friend, are a diamond. Your value is intrinsic. It's not dictated by who sees it, who acknowledges it, or who celebrates it. Sometimes people are unable to appreciate you because they're too focused on their own issues, insecurities, or distractions. That doesn't diminish your brilliance. It just means their vision is clouded. We live in a world that often teaches us to seek validation externally. From an early age, we're conditioned to believe that being chosen, praised, or accepted is proof of our significance. And when that validation doesn't come, it can feel like a part of us is missing. But the truth is, no person, no relationship, no job, no title can ever define your worth. You were created with purpose, with love, and with uniqueness that no one else in this world can replicate. Let me remind you of something powerful. Rejection is not always about you. Sometimes it's about the other person's inability to connect with who you truly are. It might be about their limited capacity to give love, their own unresolved wounds, or their lack of readiness to handle the gift that is you. It's so easy to personalize rejection and think, what's wrong with me? But instead, I challenge you to shift your perspective and ask, what's next for me? When you stop seeing rejection as a reflection of your inadequacy and start seeing it as redirection, your whole mindset changes. Rejection is often a door closing to protect you from a path that wasn't meant for you. It's God's way of saying, I have something better. It's not punishment, it's preparation. The people who walked away, the opportunities that didn't work out, they were not your destiny. Sometimes we get so caught up in chasing what we think we want that we forget to trust the process. We forget that there's a bigger plan unfolding, one that's designed for your ultimate good. It's okay to feel the sting of rejection. It's human to feel hurt when love isn't reciprocated, when effort isn't appreciated, or when your presence isn't celebrated. But don't camp out in that pain. Don't let it define you or become the lens through which you see yourself. You have the power to rise above it. Use that rejection as fuel to rediscover your strength, your beauty, and your resilience. Every time someone overlooks you, let it remind you that their opinion doesn't determine your destiny. The truth is, some of the greatest blessings in life come after seasons of rejection. Think about all the stories of people who were told no, who were dismissed, who were told they didn't belong, and yet they went on to achieve greatness. That's because rejection has a way of refining you. It teaches you to rely on non-external validation, but on the unshakable truth of who you are. It forces you to dig deep to uncover the strength and confidence that were there all along. When someone rejects you, they are not taking away anything from you. They don't have the power to diminish your value, your beauty, or your purpose. All they're doing is revealing that they were not meant to be part of your journey. And that's okay. Not everyone will recognize the treasure that you are, and that's by design. Your life is not a popularity contest. It's a journey of fulfilling your unique purpose. So don't waste time chasing after people or situations that fail to see your worth. Instead, focus on nurturing yourself, on becoming the best version of you. When you fully embrace your value, you'll attract the people and opportunities that align with it. You don't have to beg for love, attention, or respect. You are deserving of those things simply because of who you are. Remember, the rejection you face today is just a stepping stone toward the greater things that await you. Stay grounded in the truth of your value. You are not defined by who rejected you. You are defined by the love and purpose that created you. The pain you are experiencing right now is not in vain. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or even defeated when life throws challenges your way, but I want you to understand something profound. Pain has a purpose. It is not here to break you, it is here to build you. It may not feel like it in the moment, but every tear you cry, every disappointment you face, and every wound you endure is shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone more prepared for the incredible purpose that lies ahead. When we go through difficult times, it's natural to question why. Why did this happen? Why am I hurting? Why does it seem like everyone else has it easier? These questions can weigh us down, making the pain feel even heavier. But what if, instead of asking why, we began to ask what? What is this moment trying to teach me? What is this season preparing me for? What strength is being cultivated in me through this struggle? Pain is a teacher, and though its lessons are rarely easy, they are always valuable. Think of the times in your life when you've grown the most, when you've discovered parts of yourself you didn't even know existed. Those moments likely didn't come during seasons of comfort and ease. They came when you were stretched, when you were challenged, when you had to dig deep and push through. Pain has a way of uncovering hidden strength, of awakening resilience, and of showing you that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Consider a seed planted in the ground. For that seed to grow, it must first break apart. It must push through the darkness, the weight of the soil pressing down on it to reach the light above. That process is not easy, but it is necessary for the seed to fulfill its potential. In the same way, the pain you are going through is breaking you open, not to destroy you, but to help you grow. It is preparing you to rise, to stretch beyond what you thought was possible, to reach new heights of strength and purpose. Too often we view pain as something to avoid at all costs, but the truth is pain is a sign of progress. It's a sign that you are moving forward, that you are stepping into new territory, that you are being prepared for something greater. It is through the fire that gold is refined, and it is through life's trials that you are refined. Every heartache, every setback, every challenge is molding you into the person you were created to be. Pain also has a way of clarifying what truly matters. When we face hardship, it strips away the superficial and forces us to focus on what is real, what is lasting, what is meaningful. It helps us to appreciate the blessings we may have overlooked, to strengthen our relationships, and to deepen our connection with the divine. Pain has a way of grounding us, of reminding us of our humanity, and of drawing us closer to the source of our strength. And let me tell you something else, pain is not permanent. It may feel all-consuming in the moment, but it is not your forever. Just as seasons change, so too does pain. The winter may be cold and harsh, but it is always followed by spring. In the same way, the pain you are feeling now is only temporary. It is preparing you for a season of growth, of renewal, of joy. Think about a muscle being strengthened. When you exercise, you create tiny tears in the muscle fibers. That may sound damaging, but it's actually how the muscle grows. It is through the tearing and rebuilding that the muscle becomes stronger, more resilient, more capable. In the same way, the pain you experience is creating space for growth. It is tearing down the old to make room for the new. It's easy to look at pain and only see the negative, but I encourage you to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing pain as an enemy, begin to see it as a partner in your growth. Instead of resisting it, embrace it as part of your journey. You don't have to love the pain, but you can love what it's producing in you. No one enjoys going through difficult times, but those difficult times are often where our greatest transformation happens. They push us out of our comfort zones, challenge us to rise to the occasion, and prepare us for the next chapter of our lives. You may not see it now, but the pain you are feeling is paving the way for something greater. It is equipping you with the strength, the wisdom, and the character you'll need for what lies ahead. Pain is not a sign that you are weak or that you failed. It is a sign that you are alive, that you are growing, and that you are being prepared for your purpose. Every tear, every ache, every struggle is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Even when others fail to see your value, you are cherished beyond measure by the one who created you. In a world that often overlooks and undervalues the things that truly matter, it's easy to feel invisible, unloved, or forgotten. But I want to remind you an unshakable truth. You are deeply loved, not because of what you've done, not because of how others see you, but simply because of who you are. This love is unconditional, unwavering, and infinite. Too often we base our self-worth on the opinions and actions of others. We think that if someone loves us, accepts us, or chooses us, then we must be valuable. But when that love isn't given, when acceptance is withheld, or when rejection comes, we start to question our worth. We ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? Why am I not enough? These thoughts can be heavy and consuming, but they are not rooted in truth. The truth is that your value was established long before anyone had an opinion about you. You were created with intention, with purpose, and with love. You are not an accident or an afterthought. The very fact that you are here, breathing, living, existing, is proof that you are meant to be. And because you were created with such care, you are loved with the same care. This love doesn't fluctuate based on your circumstances, your mistakes, or how others treat you. It is constant. When people fail to love you the way you deserve, it's not a reflection of your inadequacy, but of their limitations. People are flawed, and sometimes their inability to love stems from their own brokenness, their own wounds, or their own fears. It's important to understand that their failure to love you does not diminish your worth. Your value does not decrease because someone else cannot see it. Imagine a priceless work of art hanging in a gallery. Even if a person walks by without appreciating its beauty, its value remains unchanged. In the same way, your worth is not tied to someone else's perception of you. You are loved by the one who knows you fully, the good, the bad, and everything in between. There is nothing hidden, no secret, no flaw, no imperfection that could ever lessen this love. This love is not conditional upon your performance, your achievements, or your ability to meet someone else's expectations. It is a love that sees your heart, your struggles, your hopes, and your hopes' dreams. It is a love that whispers you are enough just as you are. In moments when you feel unloved, it's easy to let that pain create a narrative in your mind. You might start to believe that you are unworthy, unlovable, or destined to be alone. But those thoughts are not the truth. They are lies that try to take root in the fertile soil of your pain. The truth is that you are deeply loved, and no rejection or oversight can ever change that. Think about the sun. Even on the cloudiest days, when the sky is dark and the rain falls, the sun is still there shining. Its light and warmth are constant, even when we can't see it. In the same way, the love that surrounds you is always present, even when it feels distant. Just because you can't see or feel it in a particular moment doesn't mean it's not there. You are not alone, even when it feels like it. There is a love that is closer than your very breath. A love that sees you when no one else does. A love that hears the cries of your heart when no one else seems to be listening. This love is your foundation, your anchor, and your source of strength. When you start to see yourself through the eyes of this love, everything changes. You begin to realize that your worth is not tied to your past mistakes or your current struggles. You begin to understand that you don't have to earn or prove your value. It is already yours. You are loved not because of what you do, but because of who you are. This love empowers you to rise above the pain of rejection and the sting of feeling unseen. It reminds you that your identity is not defined by others, but by the one who created you. It allows you to walk through life with confidence, knowing that you are cherished, valued, and irreplaceable. When others fail to recognize your worth, it doesn't mean you lack value. It simply means that their eyes are not yet open to the beauty and strength within you. But the one who loves you sees it all, and that love is more than enough. It is a love that sustains you, carries you, and gives you the courage to keep moving forward. The wounds you carry are not the end of your story. They are not signs of weakness or failure, but markers of resilience and opportunity. In life, every hurt, every betrayal, every setback has the potential to become a source of wisdom and strength if you allow it. Wounds are inevitable. No one walks through this life untouched by pain. But what defines us is not the wounds themselves, it's how we respond to them, how we heal from them, and what we learn through them. Pain can feel all-consuming at times. It's easy to believe that your wounds will hold you back, that they will forever define you. But the truth is, your wounds are not the end, they're a doorway to transformation. They can become the very thing that propels you forward, that equips you with the insight and empathy you need to navigate life with grace and purpose. Pain has a way of teaching lessons that comfort never could. When you experience a wound, whether emotional or physical, your instinct might be to hide it, to cover it up, to pretend it doesn't exist. You may even feel ashamed of it, as though it's a mark of failure. But your wounds are not something to be ashamed of. They are evidence of your courage, your endurance, and your capacity to keep moving forward even when the road is hard. They tell a story of survival, of perseverance, of a spirit that refuses to give up. Turning wounds into wisdom begins with acknowledging them. You can't heal what you refuse to face. It takes courage to confront your pain, to sit with it, and to allow yourself to feel the weight of it. But this is where the transformation begins. When you stop running from your wounds and start facing them, you open the door to healing and growth. You allow yourself to learn from the experience, to extract the wisdom hidden within the pain. Every wound carries a lesson, but it's up to you to uncover it. Sometimes the lesson is about boundaries, learning when to say no, when to walk away, or when to stand up for yourself. Other times it's about forgiveness, letting go of resentment, not for the other person, but for your own peace. It might even be about recognizing your strength, realizing that you are capable of enduring more than you thought possible. Life's wounds often teach us the most profound truths about ourselves and the world around us. They reveal our vulnerabilities, our fears, and our deepest desires, but they also show us our strength, our resilience, and our capacity for love and forgiveness. When you embrace these lessons, your wounds become a source of power rather than a source of pain. Think of the people in your life who have impacted you the most. Chances are many of them have faced their own struggles, their own wounds. Their wisdom, their compassion, their ability to connect with others likely comes from the pain they've experienced and the lessons they've learned from it. In the same way, your wounds have the potential to make you a beacon of light for others. When you turn your pain into wisdom, you not only heal yourself, but also inspire and uplift those around you. Transformation doesn't happen overnight, and healing is not a linear process. There will be days when the weight of your wounds feels unbearable, when the hurt resurfaces, and when you question whether you'll ever truly heal. But in those moments, remind yourself that growth often happens in the discomfort. Healing is a journey, and every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward freedom and wholeness. Your wounds can become the foundation for a life of deeper meaning and purpose. They can teach you to see the world through a lens of empathy, to connect with others in ways you never could before, and to approach challenges with a strength that is rooted in experience. The lessons your wounds bring are not meant to break you, but to build you, to prepare you for the path ahead, and to remind you of your own resilience. When you begin to see your wounds as teachers rather than obstacles, everything changes. You realize that the pain you've endured was not meaningless, that it has shaped you into a wiser, more compassionate, more determined person. You understand that your scars are not something to hide, but something to honor, for they tell the story of a person who has faced life's challenges head on and emerged stronger. The wisdom that comes from your wounds is a gift, not just for you, but for the world. It equips you to navigate life with a sense of purpose, to face future challenges with courage, and to extend grace to others who are walking their own difficult paths. The lessons you've learned through your pain are treasures, and when you embrace them, you transform your wounds into a source of strength, clarity, and profound wisdom. The love you give, even when it is not returned, speaks volumes about the greatness within you. In a world where so much value is placed on what we can receive, there is something extraordinary about a person who chooses to give, even when it goes unnoticed or unreciprocated. It takes a rare kind of strength to love without condition, to pour out your heart without expecting anything in return, and to continue showing up with kindness and grace even when it feels like your efforts are unappreciated. The truth is, the love you give is not wasted, even if it isn't acknowledged. Love has a way of leaving an imprint, of planting seeds that may not bear fruit immediately, but will bloom in ways you may never see. Every act of love, every kind word, every selfless gesture has a ripple effect. It touches lives, softens hearts, and brings light into places where darkness once dwelled. You may not always witness the impact of your love, but rest assured it matters. It's easy to love when it's reciprocated, when others meet you with the same energy, kindness, and effort you extend to them. But true strength lies in loving even when it's hard, even when it feels one-sided, even when you're tempted to withhold that love, because it hasn't been returned in the way you hoped. That kind of love, the love that endures despite rejection, despite indifference, despite the lack of acknowledgement, reflects a heart that is rooted in something greater than external validation. When you choose to love, even when it's not returned, you demonstrate the power of grace. Grace is not about giving because it's deserved. It's about giving because it's who you are. It's about recognizing that love is not a transaction, but a gift freely given without expectation. This kind of love is transformative, not just for those who receive it, but also for you. It strengthens your character, deepens your compassion, and connects you to the essence of who you are meant to be. Loving in this way requires courage. It requires the courage to be vulnerable, to open your heart even when there's a risk of it being hurt. It requires the courage to rise above bitterness, to resist the urge to withhold your love out of fear or frustration. It requires the courage to believe that your love has value, even if it isn't recognized in the moment. That courage is a testament to the greatness within you, to the strength of your spirit, and to the depth of your capacity to give. When your love isn't returned, it's easy to feel like you failed, like your efforts have been in vain. But love is never a failure. To love is to succeed, because love is the highest expression of who we are. It's a reflection of the divine within us, a reminder that we are connected to something greater than ourselves. The love you give, even in the absence of reciprocity, is a testament to your alignment with that divine purpose. Loving without expecting anything in return also frees you. It frees you from the need for approval, from the fear of rejection, and from the limitations of conditional love. It allows you to love authentically without strings attached and to find joy in the act of giving itself. When you give love freely, you tap into a source of strength and fulfillment that cannot be shaken by the actions or inactions of others. There will be times when the love you give feels like it's met with silence, with indifference, or even with hostility. In those moments, remind yourself that your love is not a reflection of the other person's response. It's a reflection of your own character. The love you choose to give says more about who you are than about the other person's ability to receive it. It is a declaration of your strength, your resilience, and your unwavering belief in the power of love. The world needs more people like you, people who choose to love even when it's hard, who see the value in others even when it's hidden, and who bring light to dark places without demanding anything in return. Your love is a gift, and while it may not always be recognized or appreciated in the moment, it is never insignificant. It has the power to heal, to inspire, and to create change in ways you may never fully understand. So continue to love boldly. Continue to pour out your heart, knowing that your love is a reflection of the greatness within you. Remember that the love you give is a legacy, a testament to the strength of your spirit and the depth of your humanity. It is a beacon of grace and hope, a reminder that love, true, selfless love, has the power to transform not just others, but also yourself. The journey of self-love is not one that begins with perfection or ends with it. It is a lifelong process of learning, accepting, and celebrating who you are, even in the face of rejection or misunderstanding. The world may try to tell you that your worth is tied to what others think of you, how much you achieve, or how well you fit into the molds that society has created. But true self-love is not about meeting external expectations. It's about embracing your uniqueness and valuing yourself just as you are. Far too often, we are our harshest critics. We replay moments of failure, magnify our flaws, and hold ourselves to impossibly high standards. We forget that just as we extend grace and compassion to others, we are deserving of that same grace. Self-love does not mean ignoring your imperfections or pretending that you don't have room to grow. It means recognizing that your imperfections are part of what makes you human, and your growth is part of what makes you extraordinary. To truly love yourself, you must first understand who you are at your core. This requires taking the time to reflect, to peel back the layers of fear, insecurity, and doubt that may have built up over the years. It means asking yourself, what do I value? What are my dreams? What brings me joy? And then honoring those answers. You were not created to be anyone else. You were created to be uniquely you, with your own gifts, strengths, and perspective. Self-love begins when you stop comparing yourself to others and start celebrating the person you were designed to be. Learning to love yourself also means setting boundaries and protecting your peace. It means understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup and that prioritizing your well-being is not selfish, it's essential. When you love yourself, you give yourself permission to say no to things that drain you and yes to things that nurture your spirit. You recognize that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable and you treat them with the care they deserve. There will be moments when self-love feels like an uphill battle, especially when life throws challenges your way or when the voices of doubt grow loud. In those moments, remind yourself of this truth: you are worthy of love, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Your worth is not something you have to earn, it is inherent. No amount of criticism, failure, or rejection can diminish it. The journey of self-love is not about reaching a destination where you love yourself perfectly every day. It's about choosing to love yourself even on the days when it feels hard. It's about picking yourself up after a setback and reminding yourself that you are enough, even in your struggles. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing someone who is flawed but still worthy, someone who is growing but still valuable, someone who is imperfect but still deserving of love. As you cultivate self-love, you begin to see how it transforms every area of your life. It affects the way you treat others, the relationships you build, and the goals you pursue. When you love yourself, you stop seeking validation from outside sources because you already know your worth. You become less afraid of failure because you understand that your value is not tied to your achievements. You approach life with confidence, not because you have everything figured out, but because you trust in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. Self-love is also contagious. When you love yourself, you inspire others to do the same. Your confidence, kindness, and authenticity create a ripple effect, encouraging those around you to embrace their own worth. You become a light in the lives of others, not by trying to be perfect, but by showing them what it looks like to love yourself unapologetically. Remember, self-love is not a destination you arrive at once and for all. It is a practice, a daily choice to treat yourself with kindness, to forgive yourself when you fall short, and to celebrate yourself for who you are. It is a journey of growth, of learning to see yourself through the eyes of love rather than the lens of criticism. So today, make the decision to start or continue this journey. Look at yourself not with judgment, but with compassion. Speak to yourself not with harshness, but with kindness. Treat yourself not as someone who needs to be fixed, but as someone who deserves to be loved. Because you are worthy today, tomorrow, and every day after. Your worth does not change, and your value does not diminish. Love yourself fiercely and fully, for you are deserving of nothing less. Keep your head high, knowing you are loved, chosen, and unstoppable.